Sonic.exe intensifies. Yeah, he ain't look too happy, is he? Make sure this is low because I'm not pulling out my eardrums. Not on the ears.
Is made by Shefki, an EXE who is originally a different take on EXE, or commonly referred to as Faker, before becoming into something of his own. While there isn't much
technically this isn't Sonic.exe, there's hundreds of variants of Sonic.exe.
Is a cherished creature throughout the EXE community.
I see.
And is expected to get an FNF mod. But for now, it does have a little bit of lore and a lot of wonderful art to go along with it. So I figured I might as well.
The art for Sonic.exe just slaps.
Upon your guys' request, and
like, I approve.
Curiosity, I'm going to be explaining to you just.
I can only wish to draw horror art like
taken
that.
Directly from the wiki, the description reads as follows.
Shush
Shin is a god in his universe, destroying everything and everyone who
I have to talk as transformative content.
He loves to watch people suffer and fall to their knees, forcing them to pray and beg for compassion. Shin is one of the deadliest beings to ever have existed, with ultimate power and numerous worlds to collect for his games. He snatches the souls of people to use as pawns in said game. Shin is a deity, but he can only.
While I'm not a fan of Sonic.exe, I do find all the variations interesting.
You can see the comparison between the false.
I do too. I like
because this is something akin to the black.
Hold on, I'm gonna pause because. What's he doing? Is he doing the actually pose? Yes. I approve. Actually. But no, because I got pause. Transformative content. I like how everybody took like a silly creepypasta and just ran with it. Like, personally, I feel like that's what creepypastas should be. Something you just have like wild idea for. People run with it. They make their own updates, renditions. They make their own variants. No, that is honestly something that you would do for a urban legend. And we know that creepypastas are a modern day urban legend for the technological age. Why pause the truth? I'm pausing the truth for transformative content. YouTube likes this shit, trust me. Freedom of speech is silenced. I'm sorry, I live in America. Rebel. Yes, we turn it back on. I said my thing.
EXE has his harbingers. The False Savior has different arcs, as they're called. The False Savior's domain resembles old MMORPG games like Rakion and Toram Online, filled with NPCs that exist to fool you, the player. I know I just completely butchered the saying of that, and I want to apologize. And while I think the art and story for Shin is really interesting, I started to notice a few inconsistencies within this wiki, but you guys will just have to hang on.
Oh, you got that from a wiki?
As I continue to explain this EXE, and I'll go over what I heard. In the False Savior's world, it keeps the idea that everything is normal. And if you didn't know prior, you'd be completely unsuspecting. The False Savior often tests those who enter his world, usually by taking the form of our lovable blue hedgehog, with blue arms and eyes kept mostly shut, either as another attempt at appearing friendly or because he lacks them entirely. Though you better not cheat or even think of cheating in this game, as his mood is very...
I'm going to say this, nothing about this design looks friendly or inviting. I'm just saying, you watch enough horror movies. You run from this. You don't interact with this.
Prone to changing quickly if he suspects you are. If this happens, you're likely to receive...
Oh, I forget. I have a monster fucker community.
Filling your
Wood.
stomach and lungs with starving rats. Now, I've never had...
Should I do a ranking system of like different creepypastas and just do a smash and pass with them all?
But hey, you know, don't knock it till you
And
try
what would
it,
be
guys. Put
hilarious
starting
is
rats
if
in
like
your
Jeff the
lungs and
Killer is like
stomach. No one
way on the
describes the False
bottom,
Savior
like
as
F
a very
tier.
broken, demented creature. As mentioned
Just
earlier,
because I
his
know my
body is
community.
inhabited by three
We would
separate
take the most
beings:
grotesque
Shin,
thing
Astaroth,
and we would just
and
have it be boom,
Toive.
S tier.
Honestly, I'm not
Slender
sure how to
Man.
say that last name because
I
of
think Slender
his
Man is looking
accent.
way too normal
So
to be S tier anymore. I think he's like A or B at most anymore. Yes, I know TurboTax. Shush. Every hole's a goal. I mean, giggity giggity. That's why I have a blue Twitch. I like drawn things. Which I actually have to come up with with this month's saucy picture. I got something. I'm sure I do. And of course I'll like that, because why not?
can let me know down in the comments below. Just know that I'm gonna say Toba for this
I've got
video
my
for the
landscape.
sake of me trying to get it
There we
as
go.
accurate as I can. So out of all these
Jeff is just an
personalities,
edgy
Shin
boy who
is
needs
the
good
most
talking
dominant.
to, and
Joined in
if that
mind,
doesn't
body,
work,
and
a
soul,
good
those
cap
who
to the
first
dome.
interact with him describe his demeanor
Just because
to be
there's a goalie
somewhat
doesn't mean he
strange
can't
or
score.
unsettling, despite his cheery nature. Each of these souls, when they take possession, have
In some cases, the goalie's just a +1. No, we're bad. You people are bad.
different appearances. This being Shin, this being Astaroth, and this one being Toba. I think now is a good time
Pillbug.
to mention there's actually quite a lot of artwork.
The
for
two
False
have really
Savior,
cool names, and
to
then you
add
got
to
fucking
that, look at
Pillbug.
how insane this is. I really love the design here, and the overall theme is done so well. The black and white, the kind of like screaming image, like it just goes really, really well together. And I gotta say, I love seeing all the art for this character. Now, you might be asking,
the art's
what
nice.
exactly is Shin's motive? Why torture people? Is he a sadist like many before him? Well, Shin is empty, doing terrible things from sheer boredom. It's said he feels nothing at all, and that he does it simply because he can. But even with this, the false savior genuinely believes that he is a hero, viewing himself as a savior to those who dare to cross his path. It's truly a shame there hasn't been much media on the character, given the fact I can see a lot of potential in this EXE. An RPG like
Okay,
World
but I
with
mean, to
12
be
arcs to
fair,
explore.
you've got Shin, but then you
How
have
cool
Astaroth
would
right
a
behind
game
him.
adaptation
So I
of this
mean,
be? While we likely won't ever get
you
that
know,
specifically, the FNF mod EXE
Monster
merge
fucker
is to be
community.
released in the
You
future,
guys know where I'm getting
assuming
at.
it won't get canceled. There's even some FNF art, and a good amount of it as well. There's even one of a cover of Obituary, which I thought was pretty interesting. And all of which, once again, being really cool. I'm going to introduce a new
I am
segment
almost terrified
whenever
to
I
look at
into
AO3 and
these
check to see how
EXEs.
many
That segment
Sonic.exe
discussing
smut
some of
there
the
is.
abilities. While power scaling these abominations
Oh
can be quite
dear.
difficult, when the wiki lists their abilities, I might as well mention them. So, the False Savior has a wide range of ability, these being Mind Manipulation, Super Strength, Aura of Decay, Real World Manifestation, so no one is really safe, Hallucination, Blessings, quote unquote, Aberration Shroud, Hellblast, Mimicry, Run, and Shapeshifting. Yes, Run is actually an ability, and we'll get to that in a second, but oh my god,
I
what
mean,
can't this
it's
guy
Sonic.
do? Let's
Run
just
should be an
talk
ability
about some of these
regardless.
abilities and what he can do within his world to get a better idea. Just because, honestly, I know one person who's going to pick the bear, so to speak, and try to fight this thing or think that they can beat it. First off, mind manipulation. He places his hand on your forehead, and after extreme pain, you're under his control. I feel like this could be a way after he manifests into the real world, he can put
I'm not
his
following
hand on
how
your
this
head
is a
and you kind of
thing.
become under his control, and he'll make you enter his world. But if he's powerless in the outside world, can he do that? Honestly, not sure. I'm not going to focus on it too much because some of these abilities are pretty
Is this
interesting. It said
only
his
if you
super strength
play
can
the
decapitate
game?
Knuckles with flicking his finger. That's kind of crazy. Aura of Decay. When Shin transforms, everything around him rots and decays. His hallucination ability isn't really a hallucination, as it become a reality should it hit you or scare you, like at all. Then it will physically hurt you even though it's technically not real. The blessings I mentioned earlier are really just curses that he places on you, but you know, they're just disguised. Hell Blast, which may seem familiar to some EXE fans. Should it hit you, you'll explode, burn,
I feel like
and
the power
then melt.
scaling
Not
is a
sure how that
little
works, but I mean, it
off
sounds
balance.
terrible. Another thing that may seem
Not that I really
familiar
do a lot
is
of like
his
power
run
scaling
ability,
in
where
Ninja
if he
anyway, but
says
like
run, well, you'll need to run like your life depends on
I
it.
feel like it's a
Because,
lot.
you know, it does. And should you escape him, you'll be doomed to repeat the loop. Though, something interesting is stated here. There is an option that involves you leaving, but he'll wait for another victim. Not sure what the escape conditions are, but it may not seem entirely hopeless. And while he may seem like he's unstoppable, it said he does have a weakness. This weakness being the power of distraction. He can be
Chili
distracted
dogs.
easily, and while I'm not sure what this would do, it is an option that, you know, you could take and to perhaps stall for time. And while I love the idea of this EXE, I couldn't help but
I'm
read
just
through this
spitballing.
wiki
I'm
and
thinking
kind of
chili
get a little
dogs.
confused because if it says that he has
I mean, to be fair,
ultimate
fast chasing
power,
after somebody,
but
food
he
would
can
definitely be a
only do what he
distraction.
wants if it's within his realm.
Like,
But
you need
it
all that
also
energy,
said
right?
that he can drag people into this world. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding something here, but I mean, hey, it's an EXE and it'll find its way to eventually get you trapped inside of its world, as that's kind of like the whole point. Again, I'm not going to focus too much on it. I just wanted to say something that I noticed. It's worth mentioning that at the top of the False Saviors wiki page, there's actually a quote said by Shin where we can click on a hyperlink to a girl named Pandora. Pandora
Snap.
has her own wiki page, though not much is here. We do get something. According to the creator, this is about 30% of Amy-Rose and is one of the 12 arcs of the False Savior. According to the wiki, Shin hates Pandora, becoming afraid and bearing hatred at the slight mention of her name. Shin will go out of his way to kill Pandora, only for her to be revived. There's also a pretty good amount for this character as well, and I actually really like this design. Pandora even has a reference sheet. Pretty neat. I find it interesting that an arc has this much, like, kind of, I think that the creator really took a liking to this character and the potential concept. Now, this is the only arc that I could find that had its own wiki page and had a little bit of substance to it. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Another thing about the False Savior is it's often compared to 2017X because of its belief that it is a hero. It takes the form of Sonic, but it doesn't believe that it is Sonic and only has that slight comparison. Regardless, this EXE has been really fun for me to look into. The art style that's shown has been a joy to look at, and I really hope more stuff is made around this EXE, as I could see a lot of concepts displayed with this character. Though, for now, this is all we got. What I've shown to you, what I've talked about, is the False Savior. Excellent creature aside, I wanted to get this video out and talk about a smaller EXE before diving into the Nightmare universe, because yes, I have been reading your comments, and a lot of it has been
Big
asking
ol'
me to get
universe
into the
in there
Nightmare
too.
universe.
I
Thank
bet.
you for your patience, and get ready